Hello everybody, this is Shlomo again. I received a number of messages telling me that now during this unique period I need to talk. And yes, I agree with that. I need to talk. It took me a number of days to think how to talk and what to talk, but here I am. And as reality changes, I guess Shlomo will change with it. So let me read to you something I posted on Facebook on August 30th, 2017. And this is what I wrote with a picture of Earth. A new reality and the winding down of Earth's rotation. We are approaching a very major event, the beginning of a new reality, a reality where we will be transformed from slaves to partners. It is highly probable that the Earth rotation will wind down in the very near future, possibly by the 7th of Hebrew month of Tishrei. This will be preceded by a period of deceleration. The current world leaders will be brought to realize that they are passengers on this planet, just like the rest of us. The fact that they travel in first class will make no difference. We all live on Earth, and we will all have a common destiny. There is no point at this time to describe what will come after, until it happens. Well, now it happened. So I will not discuss what will come after in this video, but I will in my next video, which hopefully will be in a couple of days. And in this next video, I will become a different Shlomo from what you know. And most likely some of you will say goodbye, and many more of you will say hello. So, in this video, I will talk about a number of topics that may actually look unrelated, but of course they are. First, I want to clarify, maybe again, what spirituality and what religion mean to me. So spirituality, or a spiritual person, to me, is a person who realizes somehow, mostly through feelings, that there is more than what the five senses can comprehend. So that's a spiritual person to me. It doesn't have to be a religious person or an artistic person. That has nothing to do with it. Now let me talk about religion and religions, because that's very important, especially since I'm changing course. So to most of you, religion and God, or religions and God, are connected, right? And when you hear God, you usually instantly see religion in your eyes. So, religions and God are connected, but they are connected only in a one way. There is no return. There's only one way connection. And that connection is only from religions to God. There is no back connection. So what I'm basically saying is that religions, and when we say religions, is people, the leaders of those religions over the years, are telling you that God is something that you as a normal person cannot comprehend, cannot understand, and cannot connect with, because it's too complicated, too sophisticated for you. And because of that, they come to you and say, we are the experts, we understand God, we are connected to God, and you have to basically deal with God through us. Yeah, right? And they have some kind of a ID hanging here, which in their case, it's probably a hat and some kind of a clothing and some kind of a symbol they hold in their hands. But in reality, they are not representing anybody but themselves and their self-interests. So this is what religions are. Okay? What God is that thing that you connect to when you meditate, when you take some very powerful drugs, or when you experience a near-death experience. Every time that happens to you, you are actually seeing or feeling or connecting with God. And if you are going to try and do it through a third party, like a religion, then it wouldn't happen. Okay, so now that we have religion sorted out, let's continue. The corona thing, the coronavirus and the situation that happened here actually put me personally in a win-win situation. And why is that? I'll tell you. Because you see, I have certain knowing, certain used to be theories, then it became actually knowing. And one of these things, which is actually the apex of it, is that I'm going to change the world. Right? So in this situation, if I am wrong, which is a possibility, I'm just human. If I am wrong, and the world and the universe and our reality is actually all random, just like science describes, is all material generated or matter generated, then to be honest with you, I don't want to be here. I would rather go earlier, since I'm in good shape and I've never been sick or anything. I would rather leave this world because I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. Nobody is dependent on me. And if this is the case, it's a great win. If the virus is going to take me, well, so be it. It's a win for me. And if I'm wrong, if I am right, and I do have this mission and everything I'm knowing is correct, that's even a bigger win. So this is how I perceive this whole situation. It's a win-win, and I'm not saying it to cheer myself up or anything. It's just a realization that I came to over the last few weeks. So let me introduce some of the ideas which I was going to do through my book, but I'll do it ahead of time because reality has changed. And I think some of those ideas need to be known at this, call it unique times. And also because you have so much free time now, I want to plant some open-ended concepts in your mind and ideas so you can sit and think. So let me talk about the coronavirus, but through the lens of the Matrix movie. I'm sure most of you saw the Matrix. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching my videos because it's kind of addresses the same type of people. So what do they have in common? See, a virus is not a living thing by definition. It's actually a piece of matter. It's a piece of protein. And it's assembled in such a way that it just happens that it can connect to a cell, penetrate it, go in and produce new viruses, right? So in a way, it's not different from the machines that we had in the Matrix, because both of them control our actions, right? And both of them could not survive without us or without a living thing. The machines could not survive without us because we were like the battery or the energy for them. And the virus cannot survive without us because he cannot reproduce. It will disappear. We can also argue that both of them were created by us. But that's for a different, for a different video. The big difference is that in the Matrix, the people who were in the Matrix did not know they were in the Matrix, right? Until they were pulled out of there. You know that you are in that Matrix controlled by the virus right now. So my question to you is, and this is for you to think about, what do you do with it? What do you do with that knowledge? Because you have a huge advantage over the people in the Matrix that didn't know they are in the Matrix. They needed somebody from outside to come and save them. You don't. The only way you will get out of this Matrix is by eliminating the virus's ability to control you, right? So you may ask now, where is Neo? Well, he's on his way. Now to a different topic. Did you ever try to feel or think what is nothingness? And I mean nothingness. You know that nothingness is much harder to think about or imagine than is infinity. And historically, most people who studied infinity either lost their mind or died. If you do some research on Google, you will see that most of those people, like I said, either lost their mind or died. So now imagine dealing with nothingness, which is way, way, way more weird and hard to comprehend. But this is the basis for my book, From Nothingness to Infinity and Everything in Between. See, we exist in absolute nothingness. God, which is a pure consciousness, is the only thing that exists. But it is still nothingness since there is no matter. God is pure consciousness. There is no matter. So it is complete nothingness. And we exist in this complete nothingness by existing in that consciousness that's called God. That consciousness is extended to us. Our reality is only our reality. What it means is that if you manage to look from outside of our reality, you would not see anything. And what it's like, I'll give you a metaphor, I'll give you an analogy. If you walked into a room and somebody was sleeping there and they had a really, really vivid dream, everything was colorful and real, right? And you walked into that room, what would you see? You would just see a sleeping person. You wouldn't see what they encounter, what reality they encounter. So it's exactly the same thing. Now, this is the only way life or consciousness can be. Okay? The way I described. There is absolutely no other way. And if you remember my metaphor with the 4 boundaries, and I will just go over it again for those of you who didn't see it, because I had it in a few of my videos. In our reality, there are 4 boundaries that we cannot cross. We can never peek or look beyond those boundaries. And what they are, the first one is the universe. The infinity of the universe we cannot cross. Okay? And scientifically, the reason is not so much because it's infinite, because we don't know that, but because it expands faster than the speed of light. So we can never get to the end of it because it expands faster than our vision. The second boundary is the boundary of the micro. All those particles that everything in the universe is made of them, we always find smaller ones as we develop better technologies. So it's an infinity because we will forever find a smaller particle. We'll never find the actual building block of the universe. Okay? The third boundary is our birth. We can never peak beyond our birth, regardless of what people are saying that they had a previous life. Okay? And the fourth one is our death. Nobody ever came back, so we cannot peak beyond our death. Now, I said in my previous videos that in reality, all those boundaries don't exist. Okay? And now if you think what I said about nothingness, maybe it will start making some sense to you. So that's another thing I want you to think about. Because if you are trying to step out of nothingness, it's impossible. So that means you cannot step out of your nothingness. And you cannot, Anyway, I'll leave it to you to think about. I will bring it up again with some more information. And by the way, if you want to, the closest I could describe nothingness to you, because again, it's something that we cannot describe, is think about somebody who is in a coma for 15 years and has no senses at all, but their mind is totally clear. And a few of those cases were just discovered lately, that people came back after 15, 20 years, and they said that their mind was 100% there and clear, but they could not communicate with anything because they had no five senses. Okay? So that would be as close as you can get in your thinking to nothingness. Let's talk a little bit about quantum physics, or topics in quantum physics. You know that everything is made of particles. Everything in the universe, whether it's my microphone here, or my camera, or myself, or my glasses, or even the waves that connect, the waves that connect you and me now while I'm talking on the video, everything is made of particles. So we can actually say that everything, just again as a metaphor, is made of Lego pieces, right? The particles are kind of Lego pieces because you can assemble anything you want from those particles. Or maybe I should say God can assemble anything from those particles. Now, we have seen, and you can actually go on YouTube, you will find that if you look under, I think it's called Dr. Quantum, it's a very short video, 5 minutes, describes something that's called the dual slit experiment. It's a very known experiment for the last 150 years probably, where in this experiment, somehow the human consciousness is changing the results of those experiments with the particles. And nobody can really understand why. But the fact is that the human consciousness actually changes what the particles do. So what that really means is that you, as a conscious being, can actually change the particles that make up the whole universe, including yourself, including the coronavirus, or including a cancer cell, or whatever it is, right? Now, materialists will tell you that those Lego pieces somehow assembled themselves into some higher structures, amongst them conscious creatures like us, and now those conscious creatures made of those Lego pieces can now go and manipulate those Lego pieces again. Well, if that makes sense to you, that's okay too. Now, it may look like I am all over the place with my ideas and videos and so on, but actually, as we move forward, I will dot all the I's and I will cross all the T's for you. I promise. Okay? Now remember that you are both a particle and the entity controlling it. It's very important to remember. Now, before I go, I want to ask you a question. And you can post your answers in the comment section. But it's very important for me to hear your answers. And I think it's also a good exercise, a mind exercise for you. So, what would it take, or what must one do, or say, or show, or prove, or whatever you like, so that you would accept everything they say after that as absolute truth? Or is that even possible? So try to answer that question. One more thing, if you follow the Drop of Youth, which is on dropofyouth.com, I just posted an interesting letter I received from one of the first users. I would recommend, if it interests you, to go and read it. It's at dropofyouth.com. So be well and see you very soon.